curious figure has been spotted walking the old woodland paths, wrapped in a cloak that seems to change with every passing moment. I believe this can only be the memory weaver. Explorer, we found another guardian. Hi there, it's Ali from Rickety Snippets here, aka Myrtle Mudfoot, reporting from Quest Headquarters. Welcome back to Chapter 6 of our quest to find the Forgotten Kingdom. So last week we ventured into the Forgotten Gardens and we met the Seed Seeker and we discovered some rather unusual flowers that spin. And today the Mapmaker has sent us to find someone who has a rather unusual way of keeping memories safe, the Memory Weaver. So the Mapmaker says they do not collect memories as one might collect coins or pressed flowers. Instead, each memory is carefully stitched into the weaver's cloak. Every patch has a story, every thread has a beginning, every faded scrap of fabric carries a little piece of someone who once laughed, travelled, dreamed, or accidentally spilled something on their favourite shirt and insisted that it was part of the design. So this week we're going to create our Memory Weaver pages and we're going to create her a beautiful cloak using this page of beautiful patches of salvaged fabrics, and we're going to make a little memory box where we're going to tuck away some preserved scraps that have a bit of a history. So I actually can't wait for this one. If you've only just discovered the quest, don't worry, you're not too late to join us. All of the Explorer packs for the entire quest are free. Just follow the link in the description to sign up, and then you can start your journey from Chapter 1. Okay, so let's see what we're going to do with this lot. Okay, so before I start cutting everything out, a note about the paper. So I've printed these two onto regular paper. These two are on 160 GSM cardstock, so quite a lightweight card. And on the back of this one, I've printed that patchwork of fabrics. I've printed it upside down, but that won't matter, so it doesn't matter if that happens to you. And this one, I've printed the map from the first week onto the back of that. And then this one, I've just printed onto regular paper. But before I cut this bit out, I want to stick it onto quite a solid bit of card. So something like a cereal packet or something like that. That'll be good for that. So I'm going to stick that down onto the cereal packet and then cut it out. So I'm going to get cutting and then I'll be back. Okay, so I've cut out all the pieces. So we've got our cape to make up there, and we've got some buttons and some kind of little appliques there that we can use. And these are all the bits for our box. So I just wanted to say about this piece. So this is the bit that I've stuck onto a bit of heavier cardboard. And I've used a knife to cut around all these pieces, but I realise that can be quite fiddly and you might not want to use a knife on all of it. So, well, if you are using a knife, I find it easier to start with those bits, cut those bits out and then cut around the edge, because then you've got more to kind of hold on to. If you don't really want to use a knife and you just want to use scissors, you can make a hole in it and then cut round, and you can actually cut these bits out if you want to, just kind of cut round the edges, and then save these bits and stick them back in later, so that can make things a bit easier if you don't want to do all that kind of fiddly cutting. So we'll put those bits to one side and we'll come back to those. And we're going to start with this piece, and I'm just going to fold it in half. I'm going to grab the book and I'm going to stick it down right across those two pages. So really making sure we've got a good connection in the middle there first of all. So I think I'm going to stick it down in the middle first. There we are. So I stuck that down and I've got that little bit of overhang on the other side. And so we can start making her cloak. So we've got this bit, so that literally just sits on top like that. And I thought we'd use all these little bits of fabric that have all this history from this sheet. So I'm just going to tear into this. Which bits do I like? So I'm just going to tear some strips off. Big chunks. And so probably just a nice mixture of some of the greens and some nice pinks in here and some beige colours. And they can be all different sizes. Or you could cut them if you like. I quite like that kind of organic look of them being torn. So I'm hoping we've got enough now to cover the cloak. I've saved this bit with these really quite well defined patches on them because we're going to use that bit again later. And I've been wondering what memories these patches hold. They look like they might have party dresses on there and maybe a wedding dress or all sorts of memories. Okay, so I'm going to start sticking these bits on. So it doesn't matter how kind of messy you are with sticking them on, because we're going to trim it afterwards and then lay it on. So I'm just going to find the bits that I like really and stick them over the cloak. And actually I'm going to put the glue onto the cloak itself to begin with and stick it to the mat. There we are. And then when that's dry, you can just trim around the edges of the cloak. Then we can give her a fitting. Yeah, what do we think? Oh, grand. I'm going to just scrumple it up a little bit so it looks a bit kind of more, gives it a kind of more cloth feeling. It's a little bit scrumpled. There's 2 layers here, so, or more than 2 layers in lots of places, so it won't be easy to just screw it up, but you can give it a bit of texture this way. And then I'm just going to stick that down. So before you stick it down, you could of course include anything in this. So you can include your own bits of fabric, bits of lace. You could put your own little charms in here, so you could kind of fix those on before you actually stick it down, and just, you know, have them hanging from a bit of thread or something. That could look really nice. So I'm going to put some glue on her shoulders. And then all the way along. I'll line all that up. I'm just going to fold in there. So it's going over the page. We are. So they've got little bits where it's not stuck at the sides, which is quite nice because it makes it look a bit more 3D. You could, of course, leave it. You could, you know, it's up to you. You might just want to stick it at the shoulders, maybe anchor it here somewhere, so you could have it kind of free flowing. And if you're a sewer, you might want to put some stitches in there too. So that's her cloak. You can also, I should have done this before I stuck it down, but you can kind of copy some of the lines at the top here, which are kind of the folds. So if you've got a black pen, you don't have to be very precise about it. Just put some kind of lines over her shoulders like that. And it just makes it kind of a bit more, look like it's kind of a little bit more gathered around her shoulders. So there we are. She looks very beautiful. And we've of course got these kind of applique things. We've got some of our buttons we could use if we wanted to on her cloak. So the buttons, we've got a whole set of buttons here, and I quite like the idea of just putting these buttons back on top. And I might even sew them onto that button holder, whatever you call it. So I think I'm going to keep those buttons that go with that. Maybe I'll just stick them for the time being and perhaps come back and stitch them at some point. And then there's other buttons that we can use on the cloak if we want to. 3 is a bit much. It's just one. Commit to 1 at the moment. This is another thing you could do before you stick the cloak down. Just actually sew them on if you wanted. There we go. Sew down. Yeah. A bit much. So this is something else. There she is, looking very fancy. I think I might put a little bit of ink around the edges of that cloak if I can get in there still. So that'll help it look a bit more three-dimensional, I think. Yeah, definitely something I should have done before I stuck it down. Okay, so before we move on to this page and make up our memory box, let's gather around the campfire because it's time for this week's Quest Camp Bulletin. So let's start by welcoming our new explorers. We've got Betty Blushes, Sapwood Mossbottom, Astrid Starweaver, Terry Troublemaker, Procrastination, and Fair Enough. Love that. And a special shout out for Wanda Ware, who's been with us for some time, but true to her name, she's managed to wander off all of the camp registers so far. So sorry about that, Wanda. And you'll find a full list of new recruits at the end of the video, as usual. So let's have a look what's been going on in camp. So explorers have been reporting back to camp on their flower enchantments. So far, reports have been received of flowers that gossip about their neighbours, puff glitter when you brush past them. I love the sound of that. Sing, point the way when an explorer is lost, pull up weeds, and some that produce a very special pollen that can be turned into honey. This particular honey has the rather remarkable property of allowing anyone who eats it to converse with bees. Quite why the bees have agreed to this arrangement remains unclear. One explorer also reported seeing fairies lending a helping hand when flowers needed to spin. Meanwhile, there's been unconfirmed reports of flowers leaving their flower bed at midnight to stretch their roots. The Mapmaker considers this entirely plausible. Further investigation is recommended. And finally, explorer Cloudrose reports that after following a very long loose thread that had wrapped itself around her house 5 times and appeared to be leading her towards a clue, she discovered something rather unexpected. Her hollyhocks bent towards her and gave her butterfly kisses when she approached. Whether this is evidence of enchantment or the result of being slightly dizzy after walking around her house 5 times remains under investigation. The Mapmaker has requested that Cloudrose continue observing hollyhocks. he has also advised her to sit down for a little while. And more of your journal pages have arrived, so let's take a look at them too. Aren't they great? Thanks so much, everyone, for sharing your reports. I love to see all your pages and hear about your adventures this week. So let's put together the memory box, which is kind of like a little sewing box. So these are all the pieces. And the first thing we need to do is grab these two bits. And so this is the background piece, and then we're just going to stick this bit on top. So if you were someone that cut out these bits separately, you just need to stick the frame down and then line up these bits with the bits underneath so you can see where they go. And so I'm just going to put glue all the way over this frame. So just a lot on the edges, and then just a kind of line of glue along each of the slats here. And then I'm just going to stick that to the background and line it all up. There we are. And then we need this piece, which is going to be a kind of lid for it. So I've got a couple of options here. Actually, so the first thing I'm going to do is just score a line along here. So I'm just going to line my ruler up. It's not dead straight, this, but if you just roughly follow that kind of black line there. There. And then I'm just going to fold that bit up. And then I'm going to run it over with the bone folder. Or run over it. Not sure which way around that should have been. And then I'm going to flap it back the other way and fold it that way too. Straighten it out again. And then I'm going to put some glue along that edge, so this side of the fold line. And then I'm just going to stick that down. Like that. So you could have this as a kind of single lid, but what I'm going to do is cut along these black lines to make individual openings in the for the box. So there'll be like little mini compartments to put all your bits in. We are, so all little doors, and then we've got our little bits here. We can put stuff in them. And then so I'm going to grab these bits as well. So these are like little labels for these. And I'm just going to fold them over so they've all got little labels on them. So this says stitches of time. Fold them over. Got loose threads. All kind of, what's that one? Forgotten moments. Ends to be tied. And memory scraps. Yeah, so folded all those over. And I'm going to, well, I'm going to stick them together first of all. So I'll do that for each one, fold them over, and then at the bottom end, I just want to take a little bit off of those corners. So I'm just going to round them, the corner rounder, like that. So I'll do that for each of these. And then once that's done, so some of them are wider than others, and this top and bottom one are wider than the ones in the middle. So I want the two widest ones either end, and then those fit in the middle. So, and then I'm just going to put a little bit of glue along the bottom, and then just tuck it inside the flap. So it's just hanging off the end of the flap there, so that we know where to find all of our memories and our loose ends to be sorted. So we've got our little compartments, and then we have these bits to go inside. So we've got more labels that match the ones on the pockets here. And I thought we'd make up some little kind of swatch cards. So there's 5 of these, and I'm just going to fold them down the middle there, like that. And then inside you've got space for a little swatch. So again, these could be really nice with some, if you've got some fabric scraps you want to use. But I'm just going to cut out some of these squares. Leave that one torn. Sure, it's been around the block a bit. And then you can just stick them onto the swatch cards. Right. And then stick these on. So what are these? Ends to be tied, forgotten moments. So let's have a forgotten moments for this one. So I'm just going to put some glue on there, stick it to the front. Bring that way up. Like that. We are. So we've got our forgotten moments and our little swatches inside. So I'm going to do that for all of those, and then we can bring it all together. There we are. So I think I do prefer the torn edges to the cut edges. What do you think? I think these look like they've had more of a story to tell. They've really lived, don't you think? Okay, so I'm going to save those, put those in their compartments in a minute. And I think we'll put it into the journal now. So first thing I want to do is actually stick this to the back like that. So that tassel is going to come over the top there and hold the whole thing down. So put a bit of glue just at the top of that, stick it there. Make sure that's straight. I'm going to stick. Yeah. And then I'm going to put glue along 3 sides here. So not on this side where the flaps are, but I'm going to put glue along the top and the bottom and along this side here. And I can put it over that bit of rope as well. I'll keep it nice and secure. And then I'm just going to stick it to the page, and I'm sticking it kind of this way on the page, so there's a bit of space here because I want to use it as a pocket. Yeah, what's that coming out there? Is it one of those letters? Oh, yes, letters trying to escape. Okay, so into the pocket, so I'm going to put my Mapmaker's letter in the pocket. Just fold it outwards. Slip that in there. And then I think I'm going to have my buttons as well. So for the minute, I'm just going to stick them down, but like I say, I might go back, put a little bit of a stitch through them like that. You could even put another bit of card on the back of them, make them more kind of 3-dimensional and button like. And somebody last week, after they saw the spinning flowers, they said you can buy spinners for cards, which sounds very exciting. And I did think how great that might be to put a little spinner onto these buttons. They could be really fun. So I'm going to tuck that under there as well, into that pocket. And then I'm going to open up each of these and put the little scraps to there, or the little samples, should I say. Let's see if I can tuck them. I've glued that too well. But, oh yeah, no, there's a little gap. If there's anywhere I can just tuck them a little bit onto that frame, because I have a suspicion they'll probably all fall out. They're not very deep, these boxes. Yeah, now I should have matched them to each compartment properly, but that feels a bit too much like filing. So I haven't done that. But I'm sure you'll be much more orderly than I am. No, I've completely lost a bit. Where's that gone? Here it is. I found it. Turns out I hadn't cut it out at all. So this is just a little embellishment. I'm going to use that as part of the closure. So I'm going to put a bit of glue on either end. Quite a nice, decent amount of glue either end, like that. Ugh, I'm very gluey now. And I'm just going to stick that to that pocket like that, with the tassel inside, like that. So that will hold the whole lot together. So just make sure I can actually pull that tassel in and out. Yeah. So I've still got these little bits. I'm not sure what to do with those. So I might just stick one of those into a pocket as well. What are they? Maybe memories. Forgotten moments. Let's put them in there for the minute. So there we are. That's our memory weaver page. She's a bit of a fancy one, don't you think? I think she's definitely our most sophisticated of guardians so far. And she's the 5th guardian, so we've got 3 more to go. And I wondered who's been your favourite so far. So if you were to go back and visit any of them, who would you go back and see? And what would you hope was waiting for you when you went back to see them? Let me know in the comments. So we've still got one thing less to do. We need to stick our emblem onto our exhibition log. Oh, let me up. Oh, heart on a patch there. And then we need to put our map piece into our fairy backpack. That, and have we got anything to run past the rabbit hole detection device this week? Well, when we were in her workshop, I'm sure I saw all the eyes of her needles wink at me. So let's run it past the device and see if that's a vital clue. Oh, it's gone backwards. What does that mean? Okay, what did it land on? Burrow certified. So, highly promising. Pack sandwiches. This tunnel appears to continue some distance. Okay, so winking needles may be significant. So, don't forget, report back to camp if you see anything suspicious this week. We'll meet another guardian next week. And in the meantime, let's head back to camp and meet some of our new explorers. Have a great week, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.